Conversation with Dayo and Tola. Conversation with Dayo and Tola.
A beautiful morning to you from wherever you're listening across the world. This is Oluyole 98.5 FM, and it's time for Conversation with Dayo and Tola. I am Oladayo Ogunbowale.
And I'm Tola Teriba. Good morning.
It's the third day of the 8th month of the year 2020, 2020, August. Day number 3. You are welcome. Monday morning, that's the first working day of the week. Here we are giving you news you can use. Newspaper analysis, top-notch analysis, and of course, you get to contribute towards the end of the show. This is a radio network program coming to you live from the stables of the Broadcasting Corporation of all your states, and so we're live on all the radio stations within this network. Coming to you live from Oluyole 98.5 FM right here in our Iliake de Orita Bashara studios, and also live via our sister stations to it, Agilete 92.1 FM, Okiogun 96.3 FM, and of course a very big good morning to you, our online audience from across the world, wherever you're connecting with us. Facebook.com/Oluyole 98.5 FM, on Twitter at Oluyole FM, on Instagram check us out there, Oluyole 98.5 FM, Radio Garden, Mixler.com, Mixler.com/Oluyole FM, so there, so you can check us out on all these platforms. Our website remains the same, www.bcus.tv/listen. You know, a friend sent me a message, he said, I don't miss you guys. Guess where he is? Chicago.
Oh. God's own country.
I was like, Facebook, right? He said, no, funny enough, Twitter. I said, It's a very small world, though. He said, does not miss it. He's an Ibadan boy. Actually, he grew up in Ibadan, so he's been in Chicago for like 12 years. I said, okay, so if you are listening again, Mr. Okay, don't let me mention your name. All right. So, thank you so much for joining us. And we're at it again today. Thank you so much for making it a date. I have a copy of the Punch newspaper.
Let's have a copy of the Nigerian Tribune.
Straight to the headlines. Poor preparations threaten students' resumption this week.
Well,
as a rider, most schools lack hand washing points, running water, PPE orders. Lagos, Ogun, other SS3 students resume Tuesday. Gombe, Enugu, undecided. That's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper.
For government should really be on top of these things. Alright, still talking about school resumption. School reopening. Parents protest 25,000 naira COVID-19 test in Ogun.
That's a serious matter.
Asking the students to pay 25,000. Students in private
schools, exactly. For
COVID-19 test before they can resume.
Wow. We'll see. I hope somebody's not trying to discriminate. They meant well anyway. I think they try to subsidize, but they're all indigents and citizens, residents of the state. I don't discriminate. Okay, the assumption that because a child is in private school, you have money. It's not that easy. Not everybody can afford
private schools are big time.
That 25,000 is on people's school fees. So, I mean, we just need to understand that we must review Chinese other loan agreements. Reps insist. But I wrote him, no. Okurotimi said you should not touch it.
So because the Chinese may go away with the loans if we insist.
Well, yes, Gbajabi Abila's picture.
The books.
He's insisting we must review Chinese other loan agreements. Reps insist. So the issue of the Punch newspaper.
Banner header of the Nigerian Tribune: $3.313 billion Chinese loans. Nigeria pays $461 million, still owes $3.12 billion. And Serap wants court to compel Buhari to publish details of government loans since 2015.
I think that should be on debt management website. Except maybe they've checked and there are some things they did not see there.
Probably.
Maybe there are some things they expect to be there because the DMO websites should have sufficed. But then, of course, this is Nigeria, so you expect anything.
Anything can happen.
Marketers stockpile petrol. August price may eat 150 naira per liter. Page 21 of the Punch newspaper. That's and you have the picture of the group managing director of the NNPC, Dr. Melik Kiari, right there, warning you ahead.
That something is brewing.
Okay.
Right. We also have this one talking politics now. The rotation can end after South gets power in 2023, says Arewa Youth. Nigerians should determine what happens in 2023. That's coming from Babangida Aliu. Looks like the northern youths are not standing with Mamanda around this.
It's a function of who is closer to power. It's not the number. Somebody lives inside Asorok. All those other people are talking from outside.
And somebody who has been asked, like we said, somebody who has been asked to test the waters to see whether they will go for it.
So they know what they are doing. COVID-19 violation. Guests flee as Ekiti shuts hotel during wedding.
Oh, well.
Parties on fire. Page 23 of the Punch newspaper.
What would they get? But then, because if they had heard with if you say maybe they had heard with the COVID-19 protocols, probably the government wouldn't have any reason to.
Obviously, they didn't. Clearly,
and somebody probably hinted the government because usually
doing party in that place, they are more than the number. Social distancing, everybody rocking their body. So guests flee as Ekiti shuts hotel during wedding. COVID-19 violation. Page 23 of the Punch newspaper.
Trading Nigeria's sovereignty for loan, height of irresponsibility, says Atiku. Review all foreign loan agreements. PDP tells National Assembly. Still talking about Nigeria's loan profile there. Page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune.
No, while I'm not here to support any government, I mean, you know, they are these purported 16 years of the PDP rule that we, you know, they are, I mean, I don't know what to use now. I mean, you don't negotiate the sovereignty. Haba! You don't go that low.
And thinking you don't have a choice.
If you don't collect this loan, no other way. You must collect the loan.
And it has to be China.
Okay. All right. Okay. It will be fine. Coronavirus tests in 61 laboratories free, says NCDC. NCDC is telling us that tests in their laboratories are free. At least 61 laboratories in the country that their tests are free, which to a very large extent, I hope some of those labs are in Ogun State. For people to avail themselves, especially parents who might not be able to pay 25,000. They should just tell them the one that is in Ogun State so that they can go and do their tests. But NCDC is saying coronavirus tests in 61 laboratories free. Page 20 of the Punch newspaper.
Now, talking about coronavirus test, are we still not looking at the
rapid test kit, right?
Particularly offered by Nigerian.
Until they produce it in America or UK, then we'll carry money and go and buy. So that some people will make money. A contractor will get the job. We'll do clearing and forwarding. And then states will launch it.
And they will still ask people to pay something for it.
Distributors will make money. What we are supposed to do here and collect forex. Welcome to Nigeria.
Ibadan Jericho Hospital section shut as health workers test positive for COVID-19. That's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune.
I saw that story. I mean, I was, God. Doctors, nurses in the line of duty contracting virus. People will go to hospital. Instead of you to go do COVID-19 test first, you go and present as somebody who is normally sick, thereby exposing health workers.
Well, the issue again is that, we give it to the Oyo State government, but at the same time, the COVID-19 to get tested, well, some people say it's not all that easy. That getting to the, well, I don't know what to make of what some people have been saying, that getting tested may not be that easy to secure the opportunity to get tested. But there are community testing centers.
Exactly. That was what I was about to say. So that you don't have to go to isolation center or major hospitals.
Major hospitals to get tested.
And the centers are primary healthcare centers. Where you are probably even going to know someone there because it's in the localities. Okay, so I mean, just
which is the whole purpose. Anyway.
So get your samples, and if you are feeling somehow, before you go and predispose these doctors, they also have a life. I mean, imagine the doctors and nurses now; they are already in isolation for no fault of theirs. Actually, for no fault of theirs. I mean, you've seen this. Go there, get your sample taken. They will test it and you will know, so that they will know that instead of going to one hospital, just go to isolation center straight. You understand? Or the infectious diseases hospitals, people should just, let's learn to get tested when you feel something.
Honestly, I've been quite impressed by the response of people working at this isolation center. I mean, I've actually seen people who complain that they are having symptoms of COVID-19. They call the isolation center, and all they ask you to do is describe the location. How can we find
Tola, we have finished on this program on a particular day. As I stepped out of the gate, I saw NCDC and their truck, I mean the truck outside our gate going towards somewhere in Bashan at that early. Okay, so if it's about whether these guys are efficient or not, I mean, I don't think that's a question.
The response is quite impressive.
What we need to do, and we should encourage people to do, is that when you notice these things, please seek help. See, it's not death sentence. It's not HIV. If HIV has antiretroviral drugs, I don't know why some people are still afraid of coming out. And you've been feeling, the symptoms. You lost your smell. You have been coughing. You have this cold. Just the symptoms are there, and don't self-medicate. That's another one. Recently, maybe because of this Dr. Stella's video, people started going to. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
And people have been taking the herbal options that are said to boost immunity. Fine, these things can boost immunity, but they are not cure for COVID-19.
Get tested. If you notice symptom, get tested and go for the right treatment. People are getting discharged every day from isolation centers. They are getting discharged and they are fine. Okay, please, let's just do the right thing. I think it's important to continue to reiterate this for as many as are listening. Tell the others too. Tell people. It's not the end of the world, though. At all. Well, businessman attempts to jump into Lagos Lagoon over 0.5 million naira debt. Good news for him. Sanwo-Olu pays off debts. This guy is finally raping something from Sanwo-Olu. Sanwo-Olu. I hope his name is Olu. Maybe his name is Olu.
Honestly, as I want to really commend Governor Sanwo-Olu. Well, kudos to him anyway for doing that. But then, I fear more people who
want to attempt it, right? His name is Sanwo now.
And hoping that there was somebody somewhere would.
Maybe the businessman name has Olu inside. Okay, Sanwo. Let me just Sanwo. Oh well, that's one life saved. We hope others will not try it.
No.
Don't try this at home. That's the caveat. Do not try this at the lagoon.
UN worried as explosives killed 230 Nigerians in 2 years.
Wow.
Well, the figure should be more than that.
When you say explosives, okay, all right.
IEDs, probably.
All right. We have a long way to go. A long way to go. Insecurity is. COVID-19 updates for today, August the 3rd, 2020, Monday. Total confirmed cases in Nigeria currently stands at 43,841. 43,841. A total discharged 20,308. Death stands at 888. What a number. 888. That's the total death toll in Nigeria today. Breakdown by states. Lagos on top of the pack with 15,267 confirmed cases. FCT second with 3,972 cases, and in no particular order now. Kano 1,597, Osun 553, Oyo 2,768, Edo 2,211, Ogun 1,403, Kwara 753, Katsina 745, Bauchi 560, Kaduna 1,481, Akwa Ibom 221, Delta 1,510, Ekiti 152, Ondo 1,204, in Enugu 821, Rivers 1,829, Niger 223, Benue 356, Anambra 135, Borno 613, Jigawa 322, Plateau 1,227, Bayelsa 339, Kebbi 90, Zamfara 77, Yobe 67, Habia 582, Gombe 612, Sokoto 154, Adamawa 164, Taraba 54, Ebonyi 808, Imo 469, Nasarawa 339, Kogi 5, Cross River 58. Across the world, total confirmed cases stands at 18,215,360. Death toll across the world stands at 692,272. COVID-19 update for today, 3rd of August 2020.
More stories. Labour calls out workers for nationwide protest next week over unresolved issues of corruption. Page 4 of Nigerian Tribune.
Unresolved.
Not to do.
Okay, all right. We'll see. I mean, when you say corruption and labor, well, they should protest, though. I think we'll see how that goes. Well, let me see if we can take some business economy story before we go to sports. Major stories out there. I might just go to sports straight away because it's more of campaign and all that in here.
Politics.
But the Ogun story is here. Parents they cry 25,000 Ogun COVID-19 test fee. Anambra APC berates Obiano for suspending monarch, and we have Ekiti Osun to partner on Fasomi's burial. Ikpeazu sacks commissioner, local government chairman. It's on page 8 of the Punch newspaper.
And on Ondo Gubares, PDP moves to stop a deputy governor from joining a ZLP. They are finding the deputy. Well, they want to impose him, that's what the story says, as the deputy running mate of Mr. Eyitayo Jegede.
Okay.
So,
all right.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, more stories for go to sports.
Dogara Ajemade orders return to APC success story of reconciliation efforts. And on Fasomi, Fayemi constitutes a burial committee. On pages 24 and 25.
Oh, there's this interesting story on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. Akpabio links Ibori, Uduaha, Kalu to NDDC projects. So we might not have had the last.
So Ibori's troubles have not really ended. And he has actually been lying low since he came back from the United States. He has been quiet. Very quiet, I would say.
Well, and we have Obaseki vows crackdown on the perpetrators of violence in Edo State ahead of the elections. NBA election, Akpata orders receive certificates of return. And APC upbeat about success of reconciliation efforts. And we have 12.3 billion naira missing in Imo Commission, says a report. Niger. All that on page 20 of the Punch newspaper.
Now to sports, jubilant Arsenal fans break distancing rules. A joyful supporter hugs policeman.
Yeah, policeman. The person nearest to you. I mean, a policeman. I hope he does not get a jail time. Well, they are all celebrating. They won. Eagles target Dessers may consider Belgium call-up. And we have Eagles need dynamic wingers, says Finidi George. Still on the sports page of the Punch newspaper, page 28. Balogun eats out at McKenna after goal post incident. And we have Kanu Eels Gunners after 14th FA Cup win.
Napoli shot number won't weigh Osin head down, says agent. He can score 30 goals a season, says club president.
Correct.
And indeed, this Air Nachos market values soar. Sports pages of the Nigerian Tribune.
24 years after, Atlanta Heroes relive golden moments. Remember Atlanta 1996? The Heroes are reliving the moments that, wow, what a day, what a year, what a competition. 24 years after, Atlanta Heroes relive golden moments. Page 30 of the Punch newspaper.
Atlanta needs 12 million euros for Moses, and Cup final makes TV history, and Conte blacks Inter Chiefs.
Okay, that's about that on the sports page of the Punch and Tribune newspaper. We go straight to major stories. Poor preparations threaten students' resumption this week. That's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. States were on Sunday divided over the federal government's directive that the senior secondary school 3 pupils should resume on Tuesday, in preparation for the West African Senior School Certificate examinations starting on August 17. Findings by Punch show that SS3 pupils in Lagos, Benue, Kwara and Ogun states are preparing for resumption on Tuesday, while WASSEC candidates would resume in Cross River State on Monday, which is today now. Enugu, Gombe and River States have yet to announce the resumption dates for their pupils. Unlike Ekiti State, where pupils will resume on August 10. The Punch investigation, however, showed that many state governments had yet to provide running water, hand washing points and other non-pharmaceutical materials stipulated in the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 guidelines for resumption of schools. I recall that the federal government had on Monday had said SS3 pupils would resume on Tuesday. The Minister of State Education, Emeka Nwajuba, however, explained that only COVID-19 protocol compliant schools would resume. In Benue, no sign of preparation in most of the schools. Sokoto is saying there are no teachers to handle extra classes. What happened to the teachers there before? Let me take that Sokoto one. It says, also in Sokoto State, the Punch correspondent observed that schools had not started making preparations for resumption of SS3 pupils. The Sokoto State government has announced Tuesday as resumption date for SS3 pupils. A visit to some of the schools clearly indicated that they were not in compliance with the guidelines. Poor preparations threaten students' resumption this week. I think Makinde's move is finally making sense. That to go ahead, prepare ground, you would have mastered the process honestly ahead of time. Almost 4 weeks now. Head starts for the average SS3 student in your state.
And not that, I think the authorities in states across the country are not taking these things with the seriousness it deserves. And if things do go wrong, it would have been due to COVID-19. It would have been due to our own inaction.
Exactly.
Things we are supposed to do that we refuse to do as a government. And, well, if the government across the states now, if it's election time now, you see the seriousness with which they will be putting things in place, preparations, putting things in order to ensure successful polls. Now this is a life-threatening situation now, and we see the governments of the day not actually coming together. No, it took a while before all the stakeholders could come together and actually decide on these things. Now a decision has been taken. I think the governments across the states should be on top of these things.
They should.
Well, like
They
you
should.
said, Sheikh Makida has set a precedent, a very good precedent, I would say. And and like you said, they've taken time to actually master the situation and be on top of things actually here in Oyo State. Well, here we have this headline, despite those fears and the investigation by the Punch. This one is saying school reopening, we are prepared, and that's coming from NUT, ANCOPS and NAPS.
Okay.
And parents also say we will release our children. So well, that's some measure of confidence coming from the NUT
Exactly.
and ANCOPS.
And when you hear these are the stakeholders, from the school end, and they're saying we're good, we're ready. Our parents are saying we'll release our kids. Good one if you ask me. We must review Chinese other loan agreements, reps insist. That's on page 2 also of the Punch newspaper. Chinese loans. The House of Representatives on Sunday said it would review all loan agreements and conditions signed by the federal government. The Vice Chairman of the House Committee on Aid, Loans and Debt Management, Mr. Chris Azubogo, stated this in an interview with one of our correspondents in Abuja, just as the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as well as the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, supported the investigation by the lawmakers into Chinese loans. The House Committees on Treaties, Protocols and Agreements had on Tuesday last week begun an investigation into the loans taken by the country. The committee raised the alarm over loan agreements Nigeria signed with China. The lawmakers said the agreement might force Nigeria to concede its sovereignty to the Asian country if the loans were not paid back. But the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, who appeared before the committee, asked the lawmakers to stop the investigation to the Chinese loans. He said the probe would send the wrong signal to China, which could stop the loans, thereby thwarting the nation's rail projects. The Vice Chairman of the Committee on Aid, Loans and Debt Management, Mr. Chris Azubogo, in the interview with Punch said, quote, "The House generally is concerned we are reviewing all the terms and conditions to know what they are like. The House is reviewing all loans and agreements." End of quote. Investigation into Chinese loans necessary, says Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Commenting on the call by Amici to stop the probe, the Director General, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Muda Yusuf, in an interview with Punch, stated that seeking clarifications on government finances by the National Assembly was not wrong, adding that the Chinese loans should not be an exemption. He said, quote, "There is nothing wrong in seeking information or clarifications about government finances, whether it has to do with domestic or foreign loans or any aspect of government business for that matter. It is perhaps a misnomer to call it a probe. I feel it is a process to give some insights and education on the loan process, but there must be a strong reason for embarking on the exercise in the first place." Minister's opposition shows something about Chinese loan is hidden. That's the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria talking there. On the spot, the Acting Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Ambrose Oruche, wondered how a probe into the terms and conditions of Chinese loans would delay or affect the execution of the railway project. He said, quote, "Loan approval is being done by the National Assembly. So, and I expect that anyone that is going to apply for a loan should be open to them to show them every information they need. I don't know why the minister is saying that the Chinese government will not give us a loan again. That shows that there may be something hidden that one cannot say or see. We must review Chinese other loans agreement." Reps insist.
And the reps are saying you must tell us what this is all about. Indeed, I think that's why the Jabia is insisting. Indeed, there could be some hidden clauses. Well, this awaiting clause was just discovered. Not everybody knew about it initially.
Clearly, the details were not. I don't think the details of that contract were furnished to the House of Assembly. I don't think so.
Well, probably it was presented, it was not understood.
Maybe it was written in Chinese, right?
Well.
Because I don't want to say if it was English, they should have understood it. I mean, these guys have lawyers working with them, retinue of aides. So it's not as if it's the speaker that will sit down and be reading contracts. They have people whose job is to sit down. Of course, they eventually discover, which means they now, somebody sat down and read it, right?
For all you know, we have taken some financial experts to point out the implication of what I'm trying to say, that but these things were not documented in straight language, and it will take a financial expert going through those documents.
Is it not a tad too late? They've approved these loans already. They're expecting payment too. That's what Uncle Rotimi is talking about.
Of course,
that if you continue talking about, they will not disburse.
Of course, it says there that 3.313 billion Chinese loans. It says we have paid $461 million, and we are still owing $3.12 billion. The setup also wants the court to compel Buhari to publish.
I think you should take that story. They might have a reason for demanding that they publish it. Because DMO website is available to everyone. They will most likely have a reason for requesting that.
Setup tells other Buhari to publish details of government loans since 2015. The stop has actually gone to court, and it says the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project set up has asked the Federal High Court Abuja to order President Muhammadu Buhari to publish details of loans that have been obtained by the government since May 29, 2015, including the interest rate, the total amount of debt so far incurred by this government, as well as details of the projects on which the loans have been spent. Again, as respondents in the suit are the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, and the Director General of the Debt Management Office, Mrs. Patience Oniha. SODAP is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel President Buhari to tell Nigerians the names of countries and bodies that have given the loans, specific payment conditions, and whether any public officer solicited and or received bribes in the negotiations for any of the loans, and if there is a plan to audit the spending of the loans to resolve any allegation of mismanagement and corruption. I think we all know the answers to these questions.
We do already. Anyway, we know these things. Well, let's see.
Bottom line is not much to show for.
That's it.
Since 2015.
That's it. That's just it. Well, we'll see how that goes. Time check 7:03 a.m. Destination time 7:30 a.m. I have one more story there. Let's take one other major story. Consider opening the phone lines.
I'd like to take the Ondo story.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Ondo Guba, PDP moves to stop Deputy Governor from joining a ZLP. The National Working Committee, NWC of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, may impose the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Honorable Agbola Ajayi, as the running mate of the party's governorship candidate for the October 10 poll, Mr. Eyitayo Jagede. It was gathered that the plan was said to be part of the strategies of the party by the PDP to stop Ajayi from dumping the party for the Zenith Labour Party ZLP. Speculations were rife in the last few days that Ajayi might defect to obtain the ticket of the ZLP for the governorship poll. Ajayi, who recently dumped the APC for the PDP, lost the ticket of the party to Jagede in the primaries. However, it was gathered that some leaders of the PDP in Abuja were making moves to make Ajayi the running mate after it was discovered that some of their colleagues were planning to sponsor the embattled deputy governor on another political platform for the governorship election. Ondo Guba, PDP moves to stop deputy governor from joining ZLP.
Wow.
And the big question for me is, what does Mr. Agbola really want? It's still a mystery to me.
He wants to remain in the government house. Tola, is that hard? It's obvious. I think the ZLP decision all along was just to threaten the PDP to give him that position. It's becoming obvious. He just wants to remain.
But if it's going to be about
wants a fighting chance
about being deputy governor, then why fall out with your principal in the first instance? Why leave the APC in the first instance? Because I
think the handwriting on the wall was clear enough. They were eventually going to fall out. He was eventually most likely not going to pick him as his deputy, running mate in the coming election.
Right from the start, were there other issues responsible for the strong relations between them, or was it all about who becomes the next governor?
No, I don't think so. If you read his comments regarding the governor, he claimed some monies were not given to somebody, and all that. They had been the undercurrent all along. Okay, so, and for any governor, the moment you have issues with your deputy and you're going towards election, I mean, look at the Kogi issue and all that. You have to get rid of the deputy and bring in Edward Onaja, his chief of staff. Okay, because he noticed he could no longer trust the person they had been working together for almost 4 years. So that was what was eventually going to happen in those states. And Ajayi could see it, he could read it clearly that this man will not. So the best thing is look for somewhere else and then try to stamp your feet that, see, if you don't pick me, I would use the resources at my disposal to go somewhere else and spoil the vote. ZLP, well, with due respect to the party members, I don't think they have a chance of winning the election.
They can play the role of spoilers.
That's it.
But let's see that. Why should Mr. Eyitayo Jagede, why should he trust Agboola Ajayi in this scenario, considering
his antecedents?
His antecedents. I mean, what he did to his former principal.
Well, I don't know.
Well, still his principal anyway.
Exactly. Do they trust themselves? It's all about interests. It's all about interests.
And the word impose, I mean, actually draws attention. They're saying that the people
it's becoming, it's looking like it.
Impose.
Because they know he has his own structure. If you allow him go, you are definitely going to be losing some votes.
Of course, they are always saying that some of their colleagues are planning to sponsor him in the ZLP.
Don't forget that, following his ouster, the SSG too, I think, yeah. So when you have heavyweights like this, and for me, I think one unique selling point for him being a deputy governor is that he could get members of the House of Assembly to back him, directly or indirectly. When you have, like half saying that no, we want this man to remain, and you have like another 3 saying they are abstaining. Those 3 don't just want to vote; they are on his side. That's the truth. I expected the person that everybody should be afraid of is the governor. Okay, so but if these guys can come out boldly, like almost 2/3, almost 1/3 came out, almost half came out and said no, retain him. It means they are on their side, which means if the PDP really wants to win, you need these guys and you need him. It means he's pulling some strings and he has some weight. You don't lose him for whatever. Whether they trust themselves, okay. Don't let me say what's on my mind. But it's politics. That's just it.
About interest.
Politics.
Let's just win the elections first and see what happens.
So it's politics. You don't run because you like your running mates. That's the truth. It's not because they like their faces. They have what they want. It's a game of interest. That's it. Let's see if you can take one more story. Time check, 7:08 a.m. You have a major story there.
Okay, well, still on use of rotation.
I was actually looking for it here. I couldn't find it. Let's discuss it. Zoning versus competence.
The area where you start saying rotation can end after South gets power in 2023. And we also have here Babangida Aliyu, former Niger State governor. It says 2023, ex-Niger Governor Aliyu aligns with Maman Daura on zoning.
Correct.
Now the elders versus the youths now.
And we know who has the money to fund the elections. I've been searching this paper, I couldn't get it. The truth is, whether we like it or not, Daura is speaking some people's mind. That's the truth. How many times have you seen him speak? He tells you if he's saying something, and they know how they use that that USA channel. They know how they use it when they need to make some points. And now you're seeing the elders coming behind him that you don't really need zoning.
But honestly, one interesting thing I was observed about the North in the same time, saying that the young Northerners are speaking up more and more. Not gone are the days when it is what the elders say, when the youths were just rubber stamped and they were stooges of the elders or of the northern oligarchy. It seems as if more and more young people are beginning to see the things that are wrong with that region of the country.
Is good. It's a good way to start, but I'll tell you that at least for the next election coming 2023, talking will not be enough. Remember, they're not too young to run, eventually when elections came, the young people discovered that it's not just about not too young to run. You need money. So they discovered that they are too poor to run. It's not about just talking. These guys are the deep pockets. They eventually, you see, now discovered discord amongst the young people that wanted to contest when they started buying them out. Okay, so but then it's a good way. Start talking, get registered, get prepared. But then one way or another, there's this handshake that we still need from these elderly ones to the young ones. Bring them into the space and fund them.
And that will take elders who mean well,
So
for their own region, for the entire
not
country.
being pessimistic, I don't see that happening yet in 2023, because I can still see those elders who are still powerfully interested in power.
And by the way, so much talk about 2023 at this time. Is that too early?
The reason is simple. The reason is simple. We have a president who will not be contesting again, at least according to the constitution, and everybody is looking at free for all. So, so I mean, how you play your game right now could determine, positioning. Put yourself in the right place where you can be considered for something.
I know this reminds me of what some analysts have always said, that look at a typical Nigerian governor, for instance. The analyst said that the 4 years he has to spend, that only 1 year would actually be spent serving the people genuinely. That the first year is all about settling down, the second year service to the people, the third year strategizing towards elections, and the fourth year
election year. That's it. The phone line is open. 08055009850. Let's hear your comment, your opinion. Seems we have our very first caller here.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Tola. How is everything, sir?
Very fine.
Okay. This is Oluyole from Okaka.
Nice to have you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I want to ask a question. Anything about the show in case of Nigerian in our government are just going, mainly is for their own pocket, not to benefit the Nigerians. In Nigerians, we don't have, maybe you have winning economy or dying economy. All these issue of government external borrowing back from Chinese. That's number one, sir. Number two, I know of UK very well. The most of the money used in developing their economy and country is mainly from tourists. And their politicians are doing well. They are using the money wisely to develop their own country. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ishala, making his point known right there. Phone line still open 08055009850 08055009850. Someone else is here.
Hello, good morning. Hello,
good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to have you.
Very
fine, thank you.
Let me comment on the 20,000 COVID-19 test in Ogun State.
Yes, private schools.
You cannot see that we need to pay this government in Oyo State too. Students resume for the past 3-4 weeks. No a single COVID-19 patient. Why is it that this government, they don't like us? Why? I didn't know the ones having us. They should allow these children to resume. There is not going to be any problem that the grace of God. Why pay 25,000 naira? Or they should even allow them to go and do tests anywhere. Did you know that they will just bring the test result for them to see? That is one. And again, please, I want the two of you to beg Mr. David Adetoye from Ademira, because since he lost the match on Saturday, he decided not to eat for 1 week. So this is my wife, because she's a Chelsea fan. She has started eating since yesterday. Of my you.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're fine. All right. Matthew Olale of Facebook is a loan. This loan of 18 is getting too much. I beg you. Good morning. Yes, so from Ilero. Paula Sampson also on Facebook saying good morning, Diane Tola. I wish your families and all listeners a pleasant month of August. Prince Adeyemi Asensi, saying publishing is not an issue, but proper monitoring of how cost-effective are the projects. We should be well fed with right information on how borrowed loans are spent. Talking about Serap demanding, the publication of. Thank you so much, Prince Adeyemi. We'll go back to the phone line.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Chris calling from Ikene.
Nice to have you, Mr. Chris. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Still on the Oku State government asking people to pay 25,000 naira for COVID.
That's your state now. That's where you are. I said you are in Ogun State now.
Well, yes. We are not happy about it.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I'm saying that this is ill-timed. Very short notice indeed. If time is not taken, the 2 weeks revision will be wasted. To me, this resumption would have been in July as Oluyole State did. Let's be proactive in handling issues. Many parents have no job. Where you have 2 or 3 students at the same time, you multiply that by
75,000.
Are we still on free education? On China loan, must it be China? What are the results of previous loans? This is why most of us, when we must support Serap for accountability. You commit loans on behalf of the country, about 3/4 of the money goes into the private pockets of corrupt officers, and in 20 years, when the minister is no longer there, the country continues to be slaves to other countries in loan repayment. One matter would always tell us that is finally, is it not late for Deputy Governor Bola Ajayi still seeking another political party? He the governor, his government house is right, APC today, PDP tomorrow, they led party in August. I pray he will not faint if he is going to get government candidate. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Chris. I won't faint. Hey, yes, not. We're due for a commercial break. Let's go on the break. When we're back, more stories and we take your phone calls. Don't go anywhere.
Oyo State Internal Revenue Service, under the Executive Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has graciously approved the following incentives and relief in order to ease the burden of COVID-19 pandemic on our valued taxpayers. The deadline for filing of annual returns for individual taxpayers has been extended till 31st of August 2020. Also, the deadline for filing of annual returns of employees till 31st of August 2020. 25% reduction in the signage mobile sticker of Oyo State signage and advertisement policy. For more information, check newspaper for details or call 008-370-9494 or 003-344-8865. Always remember to stay safe. This message is from the Oyo State Internal Revenue Service under the Executive Chairman Aremo John Adeleke.
Conversation with Dio and Tola.
So glad to know you're there. It's the conversation with Dio and Tola, coming to you live from Oluyole 98.5 FM. We'll go back to the phone line.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How was your night?
Very fine.
Fine.
This is Isaac Agbola from Oluyole, Gumasho.
Nice to have you, Mr. Isaac Agbola. Go ahead with your comment.
Yes, I want to speak on Nigeria debt. I want to come from China. I want to ask one question. If you can answer me, you give me the answer. They said that they need to go to court every time. Taking the federal go to court about the allegation of all this thing that they. But I've never seen a bill that government respond to all these court cases. Please, I want answer on it.
All right, thank you so much. Serap is actually requesting for an information, so they may not need to respond. All they have to do is make available the information, and they'll be fine. And I think we should support Serap. They are doing fine. You need to demand accountability. We should demand that. Someone else is here.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Ayela Bugu is calling from Lamlate.
Okay.
Good morning, Alaji.
I want to talk on the borrowed money by the federal government. I think the borrowed loan by the federal government is not an issue. But the issue remains, the loans will have a direct impact on the life of the common people. For example, this loan could as well be used to solve once and for all the problem of electric supply of power. We've been to many countries where their children, they don't even see darkness. Nigeria should have regular supply of power. And also, they should give gainful employment to the youth. We are talking of insecurity. It is leaders who are involved. If they were daily employed, at least an husband is a devil's work. Now, we have to also look at we have an arable land. Why can't we go back to mechanized farming? Our father has been using oats and cutlass for the past years. But if we embark on mechanized farming, it will give us great advantages. There will be adequate provision of food, and also our youth will be gainful employed. I think federal government should look on this aspect and use the borrowed money on those aspects.
Thank you so much, Alaji. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your comment. Ladiola at Ladiola007 on Twitter. He tweeted, he said, why Mr. Rotimi is so restless on taking China loan without the consent of the legislature? I think there's something hidden behind him wanting Nigeria to take this loan at all cost. Good morning. Thank you so much, Ladiola, right there on Twitter.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr.
Good morning,
morning, sir.
Andrew from Ogbomoso.
Oh, nice to have you, Mr. Andrew. Go ahead.
Happy New Month to you guys.
We should same.
I think we have a beautiful month of August. Because I've been following the report of this COVID from since August 1st, and if you follow, you see that the thing is dropping. I think we have seen the light. That if the government has done the necessary thing. So that actually makes me to ask, why 25,000 naira text? Yoruba we say, you cannot give to people, you still want to drink and to death. We just pray that God save us from all these our politicians. And about Agbela, just watch out. Very soon it will become a political nuisance. Thank you. Good morning.
All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Phone line still open 08055009850. Adiola Sunday on Facebook is saying good morning, Tola, and on Chinese loan. May God save us. Comrade Adiola Sunday from Shaki Oluwase Okikiola Okonla say good morning, sirs. I have two questions, Mr. T and D. Are we not selling this country? Two, please ask, what happened to our internal way of generating revenue? With time, we will all see these loans are diverted. The truth is that we only have a leader of today, not leaders of tomorrow. Kudos to Governor Shimakinde. Okay, your point. Someone is here.
Hello. Good morning.
So close to your radio. Okay, better. Good morning. Yeah, Monsira, good morning. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Hello?
Where with you, Yamonsura?
We can hear you.
We can hear you, Yamonsura.
Oh, that's from your hand. Orogbade Williams is here. He said, politics is a game of number. Either Jegede likes it or not, he must tune to the popular station to realize his dream. That's a politician talking. When you say popular station, you mean popular party. He needs a major party to win, and that's the truth. The ZLP was just Shakara. He needs either APC or PDP.
About the elephant theory.
Yeah, okay. There's an elephant everywhere. Not in this kind of. You'd have told Buhari to contest under STP now. Let's see whether we will. You need. I mean, just like Oro said, you need a major part. It matters in this game. It matters. Funlola Dewale also on Facebook is saying, good morning, dear auntie. How are you guys? Please, on the issue of loan, is this how other African countries keep borrowing money from this developed nation? Then if the money has not been paid as a when due, what will happen? Yeah, our leaders are not moving us to second colonization.
They told us what will happen.
We've seen it in Zambia now. It's not news. We've seen it in Lesotho.
They're not keeping us in the dark. They already told us
we know already. We know already. So, I mean, we can point to 2-3 countries. They took over national television of a country. They locked down the legislature of another country. I don't know whether they wanted to be sitting under the street, under the tree. You can just imagine. They took over the port, the seaport of a country because they built it, locked down the train station of a country.
So what else? They've become the colonial masters.
That's it now.
Definitely. It's not about wars and bloodletting and violent conquest again.
No. The world has moved on from all that.
Economic conquest.
You go there, you take over their resources and you decide how much they pay, you run it, you put... Someone is here.
Hello, good morning. Good morning,
sir.
Hello.
Good morning.
You're on.
Hello.
We can hear you.
This is Akamafa calling from Ogbomoso.
Oh, nice to have you, sir. Go ahead.
Hello.
We can
We're
hear
with
you.
We can hear you perfectly. Hello.
Obviously can't hear us. Ojiku to Abiodun right here on Facebook is saying good morning and good job, sir. God is your strength. Thank you. May God save us from all these politicians jumping from one party to another. Congratulations to all Arsenal fans. Don't worry. As you said, Ibolu Aji entered. Are you an Arsenal fan? Igwe Shedrak. He said good morning, Mr. D and T. You guys are doing a good job. This country is in a confused state. The country is in a journey of no, we will return. Sorry. I know you are angry. We understand. But let's not use our mouth to conclude everything. Nafisat Sulaiman, he says, I join Abdulaziz Maiwa to call on government to help us repair Bank Olodo Emu Odo Oloda Road. It is causing us serious issues. Also, each deposit of sand and damage on the Oyeniyo Oki axis on both sides towards Olodo. Please help us. Yes, Nafisat Sulaiman, we've just read your comments. Someone is here.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please turn down the volume of the radio set or you move away from it.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning,
sir. Mr. Okay, please go ahead briefly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Secondly, I congratulate all the gunners. And thirdly, I want to talk about the Ogun State 25,000. Let's go back that government thing back now. And this time it's so hard for people to pay 25,000. Ogun State is affected with the corona. They are not using the social media for people to work. Well, you saying that they're telling them to pay 25,000. This is not really considered picture. I want to compliment our able governor for your state. So we continue to help you.
Amen. All right, thank you, Mr. Okay. Amen.
We thank you for what he is doing.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate your call.
God help Nigeria.
Amen. Thank you so much. Olushayo Ezekiel on Twitter at EasyEvent17. He's saying, good morning, TND. With all the Abacha investment, we are still borrowing? The question mark. Thank you so much, Olusha Ezekiel. That's the much we can take on the show today. Oluwaji is here. A very big thank you to Mr. Ishela from Okaka, Aruna from Bumosho, Chris from Ikene, Isaac Agbola from Bumosho, Alaji Ayulabugo from Lanlate, Andrew from Bumosho, Isiaka Marafa also from Bumosho, and Mr. Oke, who just called us also from Bumosho. Thank you so much for making it a date with us. Till tomorrow when we come your way, I remain Oladayo.
I'm Tola.
All right, let's join them to say, okay, congratulations to the Gunners. Everybody has been saying it. I know somebody is listening now who is smiling at that you're alone. If you have done this, I know somebody is smiling right now. Up next, Spotted Bits with Bolo. You don't go anywhere.
Good morning, Ibadan. Good morning, Oyo State. Good morning, Nigeria. Time check, 7:30 a.m. I already know that is sport time right here on Oluyole 98.5 FM, the trailblazer, the pride of the nation. Of course, you know that we are the best in the West. And of course, it's time for Spotted Beat. This very lovely Monday morning, the very first edition of Spotted Beat this very month. Good morning. Good to have you join us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring you up to speed with happiness in the world of sports, bringing you the latest, the hottest, and the juiciest news. Not to forget exclusive interviews that you can only get on this radio dial. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, congratulations to all Arsenal fans out there on Saturday. Saturday break for sport. We had Olale Kolale, also known as Agbainoki, the Instagram comedian and actor, on the show. And of course, he predicted correctly 2-1. Arsenal obviously are gonna win Chelsea on Saturday, and of course, it came to pass. We also had a winner last week Friday, when I asked for your predictions. Yes, I'll be expecting Elisha from Ogbomoso, who predicted 2-1 to Arsenal, to reach us on 0815-669-5449 to claim his prize this morning. And of course, I'd love to hear from you. Yes, let's congratulate all Arsenal fans for winning the 14th FA Cup title. Alright, you already know the number. It's 08055009850. Let's start. Let's begin to congratulate them. When Liverpool won the Premier League, we did that. We congratulated them, and of course, Arsenal, they've won theirs this time around. Let's throw out the party. Of course, this morning we'll be taking a look at news coming from the local scene this morning, as well as bringing you updates as regards Victor Osimhen's wages at his new club Napoli. We'll also be hearing from an Italian journalist based in Naples. He will be talking to us about the expectations of Napoli fans as regards the signing of the Nigerian international. He featured on Saturday Breakfast Sports, and of course we'll be listening to my conversation with him this morning. Yes, the Scottish Premier League resumed, and 2 Nigerians were on parade for Rangers over the weekend. Leon Oluremi Balogun, who moved from Wigan Athletics to Rangers, played, and of course Joe Aribo, who won 2 trophies, who won 2 awards just last week Friday. We'll be taking a look at the Formula 1 this morning, boxing, and of course tennis, before we take a look at what happened in Italian Serie A over the weekend, as the Serie A ended over the weekend. And of course, don't forget that Champions League and Europa League football returns this week, with Europa League games going down on Wednesday, and on Friday we'll be having second leg round of 16 ties in Europe for teams that are yet to play their round of 16 matches. But of course, let's hit the ground running, because we've got a lot of grounds to cover this morning. As the general manager of Shooting Stars Sports Club of Ibadan, Rashid Balogun, has urged the Nigerian Football Federation to reconstitute leadership board for the Nations second tier league as part of plans to reposition the Nigerian National League. Balogun said this over the weekend. He said that as a matter of urgency, yes, with urgent attention, the NFF must seek means to effect a better and efficient running of the league, which has been on hold even before COVID-19 pandemic. It says, and I quote, the NFF are the ones controlling the NNL. We have a lot of problems in the NNL, and the problems are so numerous. And numerous in the sense that there is no chairman, and 2 majority of the ESCOs appointed have graduated into the MPFL, while some left for other leagues. I don't have interest in being a member of the ESCOs in the NNL, because that is not where I belong. Obviously, that's not where Shooting Stars belong. If not for the cancellation of the NNL League, I mean, Shooting Stars should be preparing for the MPFL this season. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about the golden boy, most expensive African footballer on planet Earth, Victor Osimhen. On Saturday, I had an Italian journalist, Antonio Russo, talk about the expectation on the young Nigerian as he signed for the Italian club, and of course the announcement was made on Friday. It says that the fans of the club believes that he will score more goals than the former striker Edinson Cavani. Yes, don't forget that Osimhen completed 81 million euros deal to Napoli last week, and of course it was confirmed on Friday. Let's listen to the voice to my conversation with Antonio Russo. Good morning. How are you doing, Antonio?
Fine, and fine like all Napolitan people, because Napolitan people think Victor Osimhen is good for the present and also for the future of the team.
Now tell us, what's the atmosphere like in Naples as we speak?
I think the first day Victor Osimhen arrived in the training center, a lot of people to support him because I repeat, the Napolitan supporters believe a lot in Victor Osimhen, thinking it's possible to new Edinson Cavani, because after Cavani, Napoli had Gonzalo Higuain, another striker important, and now with Milik not very support. So now Dries Mertens, Lorenzo Insigne are the very important player for the Naples.
That was Antonio Russo talking to me all the way from Italy on Saturday. Well, Osimhen became the most expensive African footballer following his big money move from Lille to Napoli. Alright, let's talk about the financial terms involved in Victor Osimhen's deal. Yes, on Friday the move was finally confirmed, and Napoli paid an initial club record of 50 million euros for the 21-year-old Nigerian, although it is understood that the fee could rise to 81 million euros after a number of performance-related add-ons that would make Osimhen the most expensive African player ever, with the total value of the deal was $1 million more than Arsenal paid Lille for Ivory Coast international Nicolas Pepe last summer, and as worthy of such a record transfer, the fourth biggest in Italian Serie A history. Osimhen will also be rewarded handsomely for the duration of this 5-year contract, according to Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis. Osimhen will receive between 4 million to 4.5 million euros per year, an astronomical increase from the 80,000 euros he was collecting monthly in France. That translated to between 1.8 to 2.35 billion naira per year for the Super Eagles striker. Well, he deserves it, no doubt about it. And of course, De Laurentiis also confirmed that it took the coach of the side, Gennaro Gattuso, to convince him that Victor Osimhen is the right player to splash such a money on. All that with Osimhen, all the very best. Moving on this morning to Scotland, where Super Eagles defender Leon Oluyole Balogun made a winning start to life in the Scottish Premiership, marshalling the defense of Rangers as they defeated Aberdeen in their season opener on Saturday. 1-0. His team Rangers defeated Aberdeen over the weekend, and of course his international teammate Joe Aribo, fresh from winning the club's Young Player of the Year and Goal of the Season awards, also put in an impressive shift for Rangers International. Good one for the lads. I'm moving straight to the world of Formula 1 this lovely morning, where Lewis Hamilton took an extraordinary victory in a dramatic finish to the British Grand Prix despite suffering a puncture on the last lap. The Mercedes driver's left front tire failed halfway around the last lap, but he held on in front of Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Verstappen would have won had he not stopped late for fresh tires in a successful quest for the point for fastest lap. Hamilton's teammate Valtteri Bottas also punctured 2 laps earlier, which dropped him out of the point. Let's listen to the winner over the weekend, Lewis Hamilton, talking to newsmen after his victory at the British Grand Prix.
Man, you made it difficult there for yourself, and our hearts were in our mouths when we saw first Valtteri have that delamination and then yourself. talk us through that final lap before we celebrate this great victory.
That last lap, up until that last lap, everything was relatively smooth sailing. The tires felt great. I think Valtteri Valtteri was really pushing incredibly hard. So for him, and I was doing some management of that tire, he looked like he wasn't doing anyone. So when I heard that his tire went, I was just looking at mine and everything seemed fine. The car was still turning, no problem, so I was thinking maybe it's okay. Anyways, the last few laps I started to back off, and then just down the straight it just deflated. And I just noticed the shape just shift a little bit, and that was definitely like heart in the mouth kind of feeling, because I wasn't quite sure if it had gone down until it hit the brakes, and obviously you could see the tire.
That was Lewis Hamilton talking about his victory at the British Grand Prix yesterday. Moving to football tennis, this time around Nick Kyrgios, we understand, has withdrawn from the US Open because of concerns over COVID-19 and in honor of Americans who have died from the illness. This 25-year-old has again criticized some of his fellow professionals for their decisions to ignore health advice during the pandemic. Kyrgios follows compatriot and women's world number 1 Ashley Barty in withdrawing from the tournament. Moving to boxing this morning, where World Boxing Council champion Tyson Fury has been ranked as the best heavyweight boxer in the world by Ring Magazine, ahead of rival Anthony Joshua. Fury won the WBC heavyweight title after knocking out fellow American Deontay Wilder back in February, and has dethroned his British rival Anthony Joshua at the top of the division. The Gispe King is also scheduled to face Joshua in 2 heavyweight battles next year in one of the most highly anticipated fights in British boxing history. And back to football this morning, and talking about the FA Cup champions. 14th at time they've lifted the trophy. Yes, it's time to celebrate Arsenal this morning. It's 055 009 is the number to celebrate. One of the biggest clubs in England. Emeka Aubameyang scored twice as Arsenal came from behind to beat 10-man Chelsea 2-1 and win the Emirates FA Cup for a record 14th time at Wembley Stadium. Chelsea took the lead after 5 minutes thanks to a brilliantly taken strike from Christian Pulisic, who became the first American to score in an FA Cup final. But Arsenal equalized shortly before halftime. Before half hour, rather, as captain Aubameyang won and then perfectly converted his 28th goal of the season from the penalty spot. Chelsea lost captain Azpilicueta and Pulisic to hamstring injuries either side of the interval and fell behind in the 67th minute when Aubameyang lifted a stunning second over Willy Caballero. Chelsea's hopes were extinguished 6 minutes later when Mateo Kovacic was sent off for a second bookable offense, as Arsenal used their numerical advantage to secure the first victory of Mikel Arteta's tenure and a place in next season's Europa League. And after the game, Pierre-Emerick said the Gunners absolutely deserve the win on Saturday. Pierre-Emerick is on the show this morning.
A wonderful afternoon for you. Congratulations, and a well-deserved win, do you think?
Thank you very much.
Deserved the win?
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone gave their best today from the team, and we deserve it. The journey has been long, but I think today we enjoy this great game.
Arsenal love this competition.
Of course, all Arsenal fans worldwide enjoyed that victory. Of course, that victory ensured that they will be in Europe next season. After the game also, the coach of the side, Mikel Arteta, said he was brought in to win trophies and that he did perfectly well against Chelsea on Saturday.
Congratulations, Mikel. It's been a topsy-turvy season for everybody, but it's finished on a high for you tonight.
It's an incredible way to finish the season. It's been a really strange year. My first experience as a manager to come in the middle of December. All the issues we've been through with the virus, with the issues we had at the club, but I was brought here with the intention to bring the club back where it belongs, which is winning trophies. So thank you so much for the club for trusting in me, for those players to follow us the way they do, the spirit that they created, and obviously for the fans. They are the ones that we try to bring them joy. Thank you so much. We cannot enjoy here with them, but I think they will be proud of the team.
I said they're absolutely proud of the team. Also speaking after the game, Chelsea manager Frank Lampard said his team didn't do well enough to win the game. Let's listen to Frank Lampard this morning.
Frank, you got off to a great start, but a number of factors seem to conspire against you this evening.
Yeah, a little bit. I think the main factor being that we didn't play well enough to win a final, in reality. And that sums up where we're at. People are getting excited. We've got top four. Yeah, we're happy because we know that was a big challenge for us, and we've got places to go. And if you turn up for a final, we weren't ourselves. We weren't our best. Inconsistency has been a problem. Many things went against us. 2 hamstrings. It's never a sending off. Everyone knows that. So that was a shame. But I can hang a little bit on those, but I think we just got to be brutally honest. We want our best to win the game.
So what happens?
They listen to Frank Lampard saying that his team didn't do just enough. Well, I'm informing that Frank Lampard has ruled out Christian Pulisic as frequent out of Chelsea's Champions League with Bayern Munich after they both picked up hamstring injuries in the FA Cup final. Both players went off in either half during the 2-1 defeat to Arsenal at Wembley, while Pedro was also first off when he injured his shoulder late on. Don't forget that Chelsea are trailing by 3-0. They face Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena on the 8th of August. That's this coming Friday. Alright, moving on the show this morning, where AC Milan veteran Zlatan Ibrahimovic had a penalty saved, but later scored as his side finished the Serie A season with a 3-0 win over Cagliari on Saturday. Milan, unbeaten since the restart of the season in June, finished 6th with 66 points and will play in the Europa League qualifying rounds come next season. Serie A champions Juventus suffered their first home defeat in the league for over 2 years when they finished the league season by losing 3-1 against the AS Roma. Lazio forward Ciro Immobile equalized for his team, and the Serie A scoring record equaled the Serie A scoring record for a single season when he was on target in his side's 3-1 loss to Napoli in their final game of the season. Well, he actually finished as highest goal scorer, and of course the 30-year-old took his tally to 36 goals, equaling the record set by Gonzalo Higuain for Napoli in the 2015-2016 Serie A season. Well, it all ended in the Serie A at the weekend with Juventus finishing with 83 points, 1 point more than Inter Milan that finished up with 82 points. The Atalanta finished in third with 78 points, followed by Lazio with 78 points as well. AS Roma made it to the Europa League group stages with 70 points, while AC Milan finished in the 6th position, and of course they'll be playing in the qualifying stages of the Europa League Cup next season. And teams that went down include Spal, Brescia and Lecce. Moving on, let's head straight to Scotland this morning, where Celtic set a marker in their pursuit of the 10th successive Scottish Premiership title as Hudson Eduardo's hat-trick helped them to trounce Hamilton 5-1 at Parkhead in their opening game of the league season. Well. Let me also inform you that FIFA has said that Gianni Infantino can remain as FIFA president and should not be forced from power while under criminal investigation. The Swiss special prosecutor opened a criminal case into Infantino's conduct on Thursday over his meeting with the country's attorney general, who has been leading a sprawling investigation into football corruption. There is nothing preventing the president from performing his duties. FIFA said this in a statement, and it will continue to fully assume its functions within a FIFA. Well, let me inform you before I leave this morning that today in history, 24 years ago, Nigeria came from behind to upset Argentina 3-2, and of course that year the team won Atlanta 96 Olympic gold. Remains in Africa's finest moment even till date in the world of football. The whole nation went crazy that very night, one night that Nigerians will continue to remember. I'll be out on Spotted Beats this lovely morning. I must say very big thank you to everyone who's been part of today's production, and bigger thanks to each and every one of you for listening, and of course everyone who tried to call. Sorry I couldn't pick calls this morning, but we'll be back tomorrow morning on a beautiful edition of Spotted Beats. Till then, do have a lovely day and stay safe.
CG the Hitmaker.
Oluyole FM 98.5. Oluyole FM 98.5.
ẹ̀kọ́ orí rédíò dé gbogbo òbí àti alágbàtọ́ tó lọ́mọ nílé ẹ̀kọ́ alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ káàkiri ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ wa yìí àmọ̀kú oríire ìjọba gómìnà ṣèyí mákindé ló ní lóòótọ́ ni covid-19 ló ń bẹ lóde àmọ́ o kò gbọdọ̀ dí ẹ̀kọ́ kíkọ́ lọ́wọ́ fáwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ ojoojúmọ́ lẹ̀kọ́ èdè gẹ̀ẹ́sì english language àti ìṣirò mathematics yóò máa jẹ́ kíkọ́ lórí rédíò.
Announcing learning on air. Oyo Subeb says your children and world can now learn English language and mathematics through radio twice daily during this period on Oluyole 98.5 FM, Ajilete 92.1 FM, and Okeogun 96.3 FM. Mondays 10 a.m. and 4:05 p.m. Tuesdays 10 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Wednesdays 10